Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
Harry Abrams is our guest on Creative Innovators this week. I have known Harry for a decade, possibly, of his many decade careers. He is the creator and founder of Abrams Artist, and he has a new book that has come out about how to build a business from his experience of decades of creating Abrams Artist from the pieces of MCA when they had to get out of the talent business and all of his trials and travails. We could have talked to Harry for many hours, for about a half-hour conversation of some of the key moments of his.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have quite a story to tell you about a fella who went to college, UCLA, in 1958. Then he joined one of the largest talent agencies in Hollywood at that time, MCA Artists. He started an entry-level position in what was that? Mailroom, yes, $40 a week. Like a whole bunch of folks who wanted to be just in this business had to do the same thing. And this guy did it, and he went on and became successful. Over the years, he found his own talent agency, which made it to him being the past president, chief executive officer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Harry Abrams. Harry, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to The Actor's Choice.
My pleasure.
Sir, where were you born at?
I was born in Kansas City, Missouri.
Woo! And then you moved to Los Angeles, California?
My parents left Kansas City when I was 2 years old, so I'm really raised in Los Angeles.
Wow. Excellent. Now, before we get started, some people might not know the function of an agent. Can you take a few moments, Harry, and tell us about what is an agent and what is the need for an agent? Why do you got to have one of them?
Well, agent is actually what we call an artist's representative. Any kind of artist, performing artist, a writing artist, a composing artist, a dancing artist, any type of artist who performs. And a talent agent is actually needed for any, mainly in the acting profession, since this is a show about actors. An artist needs, in order to get themselves launched, in order to get themselves projected to the buying community, which would be casting directors, studios, producers, television networks, etc., radio and television advertisers, commercials, nightclubs, all kinds of performances. They need to have an agent in order to get them in front of their potential audience and to have the individual or the company or the organization that's looking to employ the artist to learn about them and what their background has been, what their credits have been, what their teaching or learnings have been, what their performances have been, what success they've had on the stage, in film, in television. And that's what a talent agent does, is he presents the artist to the buyer, the producer, so to speak, and it's up to the agent to present that artist in the best manner possible for whatever role that is up for consideration that the artist will fit. So agents are needed, talent agents are needed, especially in the early introductory days, until they've been able to establish enough credits or enough visibility or enough of a name for themselves that they're then in demand, and then the producers are calling the well, not the artist, but the artist agent, because they don't need to know about them. They want to find that they know enough about them, their reputation precedes them, so to speak, that it's up to the producer to speak to the agent and ask if the agent, if the artist would consider the role that the producer is trying to fill. So that's the job of a talent agent. Does that help you?
And while I'm thinking about it, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman right here that you see, he served in military, I'm told.
That's correct. I was in the U.S. Army.
What branch of the service were you in?
In the United States Army.
United States Army, okay. I want to thank you for your service to this country. It's good folk like you that we need and have done good things for this country. Serve their country, and we thank you. So now here you are in the world of Hollywood, being an agent. What was that like?
Pretty exciting. I've been doing it for close to almost 60 years now, 60 years. And I've enjoyed it. It's taken me all around the world. I primarily had my offices in Los Angeles and in New York City, as I had offices in both cities.
Okay.
I established offices and trained and employed people, trained them to become agents, and worked for my agency.
Okay. Through the years, you have discovered and nurtured countless talents, showcasing your keen eye, inspiring promising actors and performers. How do you do that?
Well, it's based on your eye for talent. You've been trained to as an agent to watch for talent, to look for them, what their marketability might be, whether it's on camera, or whether it's on the stage, or whether it's on radio and television commercials off camera, as well as radio commercials. Your eye and your ear has been trained to recognize talent,
yes,
performing talent as actors for all intents and purposes. And I've spent most of my years, or a good number of my years, in two areas of the business. One was in the area of radio and television commercials, where I would market talent to advertisers, to products, to services, to advertising agencies, as well as I would market their voice, not only their on-camera presence, but their voice for voice-over television commercials and radio commercials. And that was and then I also, during those same years, I worked in the area of daytime live talent, people who would work on the radio, for example, as radio disc jockeys. There were people who would work on television, on daytime television, as hosts, broadcast journalists, sportscasters, radio personalities, television personalities, MCs, hosts of game shows, quiz shows, audience participation shows. That's where I spent the early part of my career. And then I moved to New York. I was so enamored of the theater that I wanted to be where actors performed off-Broadway, off-Broadway, as well as on Broadway. And I would frequently discover actors in the theater who then could make the transition over to films and television. And it's just, you develop an eye for talent. You go to the theater enough, you see performers who have a great presence on stage, deliver the dialogue, do a great job, charm the audience, create the character that has been written by the playwright in front of the live audience. And I would discover actors in the theater. Was one of the places that I would find them. And then I would approach them for represent their interests and help them make the transition into bigger and more lucrative opportunities as a performer. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it answered the question. Okay. We got a couple of pictures here. Some of the people that you got. There's one of them right there. Gary Owens, come on down. Now, he did that for a long, long time. God bless him. Yeah. Next one is a guy by the name of Bob Barker. Remember him? I'm sorry, Bob Eubanks. Bob Eubanks, excuse me. Handsome guy. The game he played. Wow. And then there was Bob Barker. Oh, yeah, spun that wheel for a long, long time. Indeed. Yes. And let's see, there's a lady that you have for you, a little youngs there. There you go. Jennifer Lopez. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, she would come from the same world that Gary Owens or Bob Barker or Bob Eubanks came from. She would come from the performance side as an actress. Yes, I was.
You made me think of something as you're talking. I'm saying
totally responsible
yes.
for her, but I discovered her and took her on for representation, signed her to an agency contract, and represented her for the first few years until her career became so huge that she wanted to go to a much larger. I was an independent agent. She wanted to go to a large agency, and she ended up going to a creative artists agency, which was fine with me. I spent 3 years finding her, developing her, building her career, and I enjoyed that association.
Okay. As I'm listening to you, I'm saying to myself, but remember that song, "Why I'm Just Wild About Harry, because Harry's wild about me." Remember that song?
I certainly remember that song.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one, indeed. In 2018, you sold the Abrams Artist Agency. Can I ask why you sold it?
That's right, about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. I sold it because I reached a point in my career where I'd accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. As a talent agent, I built an agency. We had 150 employees between Los Angeles and New York. And I felt that I wanted to spend more time with my family and enjoy life more rather than have to be working 8-10 hours a day. That's why I sold it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, why I sold it? Yeah.
Gotcha. Harry, I understand that you and a guy by the name of Rod Thorne did a memoir in a business book called Let's Do Launch, not lunch, but launch. A Hollywood agent dishes on how to make your business and career take off. Question, how can I get that book?
I'm very proud of that book. And
I know you are.
All of your listeners or viewers ought to take time to get a copy of the book. It's an excellent book about how to launch a career as not only a talent agent, but how to launch a career in business, how to build a business. Anyway, so that's what the book is all about. The inspiration for the book was I found myself as a professional encountering a number of other professionals as I moved along in my career who people who had chosen a particular career path after college or after a graduate college. And they found, I encountered various and sundry people who were dissatisfied with their career path, with their career choice. And they wanted to, they spent 4, 5, 6 years at it. And this was particularly peculiar to attorneys or lawyers. They found the practice of law was not stimulating enough for them or not exciting enough for them. And maybe they couldn't make as much money as they'd hoped to, whatever, but they became bored with their career path and they wanted to choose a different career path and they wanted to get into the entertainment business. But of course they had no, they didn't have any experience in the entertainment business. And they didn't know what the entertainment business was all about. And I felt that one of the great areas of in the entertainment industry for someone to pursue a career in would be the business side of entertainment. And the business side of entertainment falls on the talent agent or the artist representative. And many, many people, most people I would encounter, didn't even know what a talent agent did or weren't aware of it. They wanted to make a career change, but they had no artistic talent. They were not a writer, a director, a performer, a composer, a dancer. They had no artistic talent, but they had a great knowledge about business and what business was all about, business and finance and et cetera. And so I felt that I'd write this book about a talent, about becoming a talent agent. And that's something most people weren't even aware of. If you speak to the man on the street or the woman on the street and ask them, what have you ever heard of talent agenting? Do you know anything about it? And most of them, all they say is, I know very little of it, almost absolutely nothing. But I do recognize that artists, performers, actors, all have talent agents. And so I felt that writing a book about how to build a career in artist representation and becoming a talent agent would be very attractive and a marketable commodity. And I've been successful at it, starting from scratch, starting from the bottom over the years. And I felt that if I wrote a book, it would also be a valuable asset to them to read, to study, to follow the chapters as they unfold, 20 some odd chapters in the book. And it's a step-by-step process of how one becomes a talent agent and how one makes a success of building that business.
Wow.
I hope that answers your question.
Okay. We found a picture that I saw. Tony, can you put that picture up there? Look familiar?
Well, let's see it. I don't see it.
Oh, okay. It's you, the guy named Jay Schachter.
Oh, yes. He's a good friend of mine, another talent agent.
Yes.
Fellow who I didn't train him, but I hired him, and he spent several years with my company before I sold my agency. I don't see the photograph, but that's okay. I assume you've got it somewhere up on your screen there.
Wow. Harry, here's a good one for you. If you could do it all over again, what would you do?
I would do the exact same thing. The exact same thing. I actually, this is interesting. If you want to take a moment, I didn't set out to become an agent in college. I was a pre-med major. My mother and father wanted me, especially my mother, to become a physician, a doctor. And so I was a pre-med major at UCLA for the first 2 years. What happened is I was working, why I changed my career path or my career direction was I was working after class. I go to class until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then I went to work at a hospital from 4 until midnight. I had that 8-hour shift. And I worked at Kaiser Foundation Hospital here in Los Angeles. And I was a pre-med major, and I used to bug the head doctor. And I said to him, listen, I'm a pre-med major. You got to let me into surgery. I would bother him all of the time. And he said, Harry, you're such a pest. Don't bother me. You're not going to get into surgery. So after 6, 7, 8 months, I was still working on that job. I was in charge of admissions. I admitted people to the hospital who came in emergency situations. And I also admitted people to the hospital who were going to have surgery the next day. And finally, it was a very slow night one day after 6, 7 months working there at the hospital. And suddenly, a woman that was admitted who was in labor and about to deliver, I admitted her to the hospital, and I called the head doctor. And I said, there's nothing going on here. Let me get into the delivery room. Really got to see what goes on there. And he reminded me about being a pest again. And he said, all right, listen, why don't you wash up, suit up, come into the delivery room. You'll have to stand over in the corner. There'll be a lot of people in the delivery room. We'll all be very, very busy. And I don't want you to ask any questions. I don't want you to even move. Just sit there and watch and observe. And so I was so excited. I washed up, I suited up, into the delivery room. I stood over in the corner, as the head doctor had said. And when the obstetrician goes to perform the process called an episiotomy, most of the people watching this will know what an episiotomy is. He did perform the episiotomy with the scalpel, and that was his first movement, and blood spurted out all over. I fainted dead away. I fainted dead away. I couldn't stand the sight of blood. And that was a signal to me that perhaps, and forgive this pun, that I was not cut out to be to be a physician.
Harry, all we can say is please come back again. I'm looking at the clock on the wall. We only have 17 minutes. We need some more time. Wish you had more time. I want to thank your publicist, Eileen Spector. She's quite a lady. You know how she is. And we say best wishes to you, Harry. Take care of yourself.
Thank you very much, Ron. Nice to talk with you.
God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Abrams. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to let you know that we are asking our people to come help us get former baseball player Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Curt passed away January 1997, was the husband of one of our wonderful guest renowned actress, Judy Pace. So all you got to do is contact our TAC office at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Okay? We sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Okay? Okay. Roll it there, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very proud and happy to have a representative of the group called Bad West Black Association of Documentary Filmmakers, West. Lady here today, her name is Joyce Guy. There she is. She's looking G-O-O-D today, looking smiling. Joyce, welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Thank you so much. I'm
Oh my,
so happy to be here. I've heard so much about this broadcast, so it's nice to finally get to be here.
hey, my pleasure. Okay. Now tell everybody, what are you? What's your job? What do you do?
My job, I am an actor. That's yes, I am. That's what I do.
Uh-huh.
But I'm an actor. I'm also a filmmaker. I'm also a choreographer. I'm a director and a producer. So I be wearing them hats, several hats. And I'm also, of course, one of the co-chairs of BAD West, the Black Association of Documentary Filmmakers West,
All right.
because I kind of got pushed into doing documentary films and joined the organization. And from there became, a member, but then I got pushed into running the organization and volunteering in that capacity. And so it's been quite a journey with Bad West because, as I think you may know, that the organization was founded by St. Clair Bourne, the late documentary filmmaker. He was in New York and he came out to LA
Mhm.
to work on a film on the Panthers, and he saw the disparity of how Black documentary filmmakers were not getting as much funding and as grants and not being heard and seen. So he decided to start Bad West, as a way of Black filmmakers, Black documentary filmmakers getting together, networking, and sharing their resources. And so that's how it started in 2003. And
Ah,
unfortunately,
okay.
St. Clair passed away in 2006.
Sorry to see that. Sorry to see that. When you say documentary, or some people call it doc, what does that mean?
Documentary film is a nonfiction film. I mean, there's different ways that you can, tell a documentary. You can tell a nonfiction story. You can tell it cinema verite, where you follow your subjects, or you can have someone narrate the story. You can have interviews. There's different ways to tell, nonfiction stories, and that's where, nonfiction are documentaries in a sense. I mean, it can be in a series, it can be in a film. Um, so
Yes.
that's the capacity of documentary films.
I had to ask that question because I've been around a lot of people at film festivals, and you'll see people that come in there. I got my doc. No, that's not a doc.
That's not a
But
doc. That's not a doc. I mean, because I think a lot of people, they sometimes get confused with journalism because
yes.
there is journalism. I mean, it's on the thin line. You can have a documentary that's on the fine line of journalism,
Uh-huh.
and some people they think documentaries are entertainment stories. Like, I was on the red carpet and I saw some people, that's a documentary. No, that's not a documentary. So you're right. So you go to film festivals and you see some things, or even if see on TV and people are going, this is a documentary, you're like, no, it's not. And, and plus, one of the things that, we talk about in our organization is that documentary films have, they have progressed. I mean, it's no longer, just a talking head, where you're sitting down with the camera and talking to somebody, but Raoul Peck, when he did, I'm Not Your Negro, he just took it to another level of storytelling.
Yes.
Um, there's been other filmmakers that have just recently, Joe Brewster and Michelle Stevenson, the film on Nikki Giovanni.
Yes.
They just, I mean, that film is just absolutely incredible because, yes, it's about Nikki, but they, as we talk about the art of documentary filmmaking. I mean, just what they did with the camera and I mean, it was just a incredibly beautiful film because we were following Nikki, but they just had footage of space, because the what was the surname? It's on Going to Mars because Nikki has this thing about going to Mars, and so so there are so many layered elements of that film that you go, okay, that film was definitely a game changer in the way that we see documentaries
Gotcha.
or those stories are being told.
In the past I've turned when I've seen some people want to be docs. I said, look, go down there to AMPAS, that's the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, down on Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. Go over there, ask them for some. They'll tell you exactly what a doc means and how you get to a doc. If you want to get an Academy Award, that's what you need to get. Have you ever heard of
Well,
it?
you can call us. I mean,
Oh yeah.
because, or you can
Okay.
call IDA. I mean, there's several people that you
Oh
can
yeah.
call, but yes, I mean, a documentary film. I mean, I hear people talking about going to make a documentary film in a year. It's like,
Mhm.
good luck on that one,
Yeah, right.
because, some people, because as we say, in a documentary film, because you're not necessarily following a script, you're following a story or you're following this narrative. And so it'll take you, sometimes it leads you where you don't think that you want it to go, but it goes in that direction. And sometimes, I mean, in my instance, that's how my film, and it took me 10 years, but in some cases it takes, 5, 6, and you just have to hang in there, because documentaries, it seem like they're really easy stories to tell, but they're not.
Yes.
It's really, one of the challenging aspects, one of the more challenging aspects of filmmaking is
Gotcha.
doing a documentary film.
17th annual Day of Black Docs. Tell us about it.
17. Yes, again, one of the things that uh we started when St. Clair was alive was something called Day of Black Docs.
Uh-huh.
And it's our fundraising event, but it's also a way of showcasing Black documentary films and Black documentary film directors around the country. And so it's a curated event. And so for this year, we have 4 films that we will be showcasing at the American Film Institute. That's where we've always have done our event, is at AFI.
Okay.
And it's going to be well, this year we're doing 2 days.
Ooh,
We're doing 2 days. On Friday, May 7th, no, I'm sorry, yeah, May 17th, on Friday, we're doing a opening night event at Film Independent. And there we're doing an event, it's called New Faces, New Voices, New Faces. And there we're highlighting 4 documentary filmmakers that have come on the film, that are doing interesting on the scene, that are doing interesting films. And it's a panel discussion. It's moderated by Kai Bo, and she is the director of programming at OWN, and she will be the moderator for that event. And so we're talking to Moses Boayo. He is the director of the film Bobby Wine,
uh-huh.
which was nominated for an Oscar this year. Unfortunately, it did not win, but is an absolutely incredible must-see film. And so we're having him. We're having a woman, her name is Crystal Tingle, and she did a film called Over the Wall about the first Black woman who was on the NASCAR pit crew. And then we have another filmmaker, his name is Majie Ubeki, and he's doing a film called I Am More Dangerous Dead, about the Nigerian poet who became an environmentalist. And so that's what that film is about. And then one of our members, her name is Elizabeth Gray Bain. Her film is called Chocolate Milk, and it's about Black women and breastfeeding. And so, but those are the 4 panelists that will be featured Friday evening. We're just showing clips of their films. And so Kai will be asking them questions about their work and their journey into becoming documentary filmmakers. And so that's Friday evening. And so we're having a discussion, and then we're having a reception afterwards. And so that's Friday evening at Film Independent. And then on Saturday at AFI will be the screening of the 4 films. And we're doing a film called A Woman on the Outside, about the prison system, that addresses the prison system in this country.
Yes.
And then we have another film. Well, we're showing the whole film of Crystal Tingle's film called Over the Wall. That would be on Saturday. And then we have a film called Bike Vessel, which is an interesting story. It's about a father and son who take a bike ride from uh, Tennessee, from gosh, why can't I think of the major city in Tennessee? From Nashville to Chicago. The father, he was having some health issues, heart issues, and so he started riding a bike. And so him and his son decided to do, let's take a bike ride to from Tennessee to Chicago. And so that's the film. And then the last film that we're showing is Luther, Never Too Much, about Luther Vandross. The film has only been shown at Sundance. And this is the first time that the film would be shown, to an audience. And so, so that's Day of Black Dogs. And so we'll be having some of the filmmakers from those films will be there. Some of them will be on Zoom for the Q&A. And so that's our 17th annual Day of Black Dogs.
Okay. Tickets, how much? Where do you get them
Tickets. So the tickets for Friday evening are $20. And we have, if you bring a friend on Friday, it's $35. So it's $20 for one person, for $35 for two people. And then on Saturday, you can buy, we have a schedule. You can buy individual ticket to the specific films, which are $15. So for the whole day, you can see all the films for the whole day for $25. And the whole day. And so we have vendors, and we have someone who'll be, if you want to stay all day, then don't worry about lunch, because we have someone who'll be selling tacos. And then we have another vendor who has vegan treats, ice cream, and sweet potato pie and all that kind of stuff. And so it's $25 for the whole day. And if you want to do two events, if you want to do Friday and Saturday, that will be $40. And if you're so inclined, you can do a reserve seat, which is $50, where you can have your seat and it can be there. That's your seat for the whole day. You don't have to worry about, going, excuse me, and finding your seat. And, you can reserve a seat for $50. And so that's the price of the tickets for our fundraising event. Again, it's a fundraising event because our organization is all volunteer based. And, each month we have a monthly free screening at the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center in the that we do. And then each month we have a pre to post workshop where we have guest speakers talking about different topics that help filmmakers complete their films. And so in order to do that, we have to pay our filmmakers, pay the venue space and all those type of things. And so the fundraiser is to keep the organization alive and going and running smoothly.
Okay. Well, Joyce, I want to thank you very much for being here today. Some great information you put out there.
Thank you.
Have a good time.
And please come if you want to know more about the organization. Just go to our website, www.badwest.org, and you will find out about the organization, also about the fundraiser, and also about the event.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Joyce Guy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony.
I got on the bus, and I was bused.
She didn't want to put us on the bus.
I was just on a bus going to school.
New Rochelle was the first city in the North to be tried for segregation.
The Lincoln Elementary School that used to stand right here has been leveled now.
My mother, she was very vocal against tearing down Lincoln School.
In the North, I think you've had de facto segregation as bad or even more extreme than in the South.
My parents boycotted. Yes, they pulled us off.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a couple of guests here, coming up with some one of them both of them have very interesting careers. Her name is Arden Teresa Lewis. She is a director and a writer. She brought with her Kimberly Woods, who is a producer. I just want to say that these group ladies have done great work together. They got a new movie out on the street, and it's possibly might be getting an award, I'm told. Is that correct, ladies?
We are nominated. We are nominated for a daytime Emmy.
Wow. Ain't nothing wrong with being that.
Big fancy night coming up in June.
Oh my goodness. Let me start with Miss Arden. Tell us how you got into this business, because you had quite a start. I got a whole lot of paperwork here, and you started out here. Tell people you're a school teacher. You do this, you do that. How do you?
I'm a walking hyphenate, absolutely. But I teach kindergarten by day, and then weekends and every single vacation I'm doing plays and films like this, and just keeping my hand in and keep earning that UCLA degree by keeping my hand in the arts as much as I possibly can.
Did you say UCLA?
I did.
No, we have a name for it. We call it UCLA. And USC, we call it USC.
Yeah.
Two outstanding colleges. Let me put that
I'm going to put a nice loop around that.
Oh, yeah. Two outstanding schools where they get a lot of training.
Two outstanding schools.
All over. Yeah, oh, yeah.
That make LA proud.
It's just a matter of, are you going to USC? Are you going to UCLA? That's the only fight that goes on.
Yes. And I have many friends on both sides of the aisle, as they say.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Now, the name of this film that you did, you did a lot of plays, and then one day someone said, "Hey, do a doc," and you said,
"Yeah,
do a doc."
Two things happened. One, the Women's March.
Okay.
I at the Women's March, the first big one, when many things were changing, and went, why am I stopping? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go forward. And how can I be an ally? That was a big word that year. And then at the same time, my mom starts divesting photos of my Girl Scout troop back in 1968. And I said, well, why is my Girl Scout troop completely diverse?
Yes.
She said, oh, well, we took all the kids we didn't care. Projects, busing. There was a court case that integrated your school. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And there was a school, and there was no school there. So my generation and younger, this story of the film, the court case, everything about it, had sort of been swept under the rug, at least in New Rochelle. And many, I went to my high school reunion and sort of proved the point. Half of the people there, more than half, had never heard of the case that caused all of our kindergarten classes to be integrated.
Okay. Your job has been director, writer, producer. You did a lot of stuff.
I did. It's a micro budget film.
Okay.
So you basically all work on it and parse out the titles. So everybody throws in. Kimberly threw in. I wanted Gen Zs and millennials on my team, and those are who I pitched to. I said, have you heard of a case like this in the North?
Yes.
Have you heard? And they're like, no, that all happened in the South. And they didn't know why they were bused. And that's why it's still relevant, I feel, because you ask a crowd and half of them will say, well, I was bused.
Yes.
And they don't know why. They don't know all the court cases that we all had to live through to create, for better or worse, all those busing systems that now integrate our schools or don't. That's still the issue today.
Kimberly, you were a producer on this project, also post-production. I'm sorry.
I was.
Post-production, yes. Busy little lady. Tell us about it.
Well, it was exciting. I wanted to come aboard. My mom has always taught me how important education is, and she herself had pulled me out of a class because she thought I wasn't getting the right education or getting put into the gifted program, so she homeschooled me. So when Arden told me about this project and I heard about all the parents and, especially the mothers that were fighting for a better education for their children, I wanted to be a part of telling that story.
Wow. And of course you had another person that was with you, Tinks Lovelace.
Yes, absolutely. Tinks, they both all came on board. I met in coffee shops.
Wow.
With Andrew, Kimberly, and Tinks Lovelace. And luckily they all said yes.
Gotcha. The lady who just was ahead of you, she was from an organization called Black West, but they were talking about the same thing, documentary. And I always say to people, I'll ask the question of you ladies, what's it like doing a documentary versus a non-doc?
I mean, I'll let Kimberly answer that more thoroughly because she's in the mix as an actress right now and is producing a non-doc film right now that she's starring in and featured in. But I never knew how long documentaries take.
Right.
And you can be current and then not current and then current and then not current as the process goes. And you just have to keep going with your vision. And we were lucky with crowdfunding because we never got the big, beautiful grants and things, but Film Independent, our sponsor, calls us the little film that could.
Got you.
Because we just kept chugging away and finding the smaller grants,
Yes.
But that's you're grinding along, and I had no,
and I think,
go ahead, Kimberly.
One of the biggest things too is narrative. You know how the story is going to go, you know where the ending is, you know how it all wraps up. And documentary, you're finding it as you go. You don't know which people you're going to get to interview. Like one of our main people, Roslyn, who was part of the case, we didn't get to interview later on in the process.
Okay.
So it's really special, where you're dealing with real people and getting to hear their stories, and you don't know what they're going to say, or, you
don't know if they're going to say yes. I mean, Rosalind was getting out of her car in her driveway, and I was across the street on the phone with the Minister Mark McLean, who was the local NAACP president. And he's like, just go for it. Just walk across that street. And I took Mark's words. I walked across the street. I said, you don't know me, but I've been trying to contact you through your daughter. And she's like, I know you.
Right.
I've been waiting for you. You're the one person I want to talk to. Okay. And I went, oh, well, we're in the park across the street with all our cameras set up. So if you're free, she's like, let me get a look. She cleaned herself up, which she just, I don't know, she's grocery shopping, who knows? And she came across and generously told the birthday party story, which was to me the pinnacle of the film, the little childhood moments of walking into a birthday party, walking into a classroom, and you're 6 or you're 8. And that's the story we were going with. There's a huge story here. There's local activists, there's plenty of adults, but to me, the focus was those 11 children, like Kimberly's mom fighting for her, pulling her out. They pulled their kids out of school, more than 11, but the 11 that were brave enough to be on the court documents. That's a brave step.
Yeah.
We see it today with the Supreme Court now, how brave it is. And it was equal, so brave to put your name on a court case.
Right. You're a newcomer to doc, and all of a sudden you're doing it. We got something we want to show you. Roll it, Tony.
Oh.
And tore it down. That was huge.
This story is about an entire city switching and all of us going to school together.
As a kid, you didn't understand why anybody would not want to be your friend because you looked different from them. It was the parents that had a problem.
All the stuff that's going on now, you have to be taught that.
We are not finished talking about race. We won't be finished talking about race until we can talk about it. With an educated mind and an open heart. The conversation has come full circle.
Come out and play with me. And bring your dollies free.
All right. That was Stevie Popper. Good music that y'all just put on.
I got to give a shout out to Lynn Robin Barish and Katie Landrum. That's an original score. And I said we needed to feel like this. We need to remind people that childhood is precious.
Gotcha.
And boy, they did it.
They did it. Kimberly, is this your first doc?
It was my second doc I was working on. I was working on 2 consecutively, one about fibromyalgia and this one about desegregation. All for the first time, so it was quite a fun, enlightening process.
Now, Arden, are you going to go back and do another doc?
I am. Actually, I'm doing a doc that's been in my life my whole life, but my mom was incarcerated during World War II in a Japanese prison camp in Manila in the Philippines. Like her Pearl Harbor days, December 8th, because that's when the Japanese went from Pearl Harbor to Clark Air Base and invaded the Philippines. And I just have always wanted to do that doc, and she's still on the planet. She's 91. So, and there's a group of them that are still with us. So that's the next story I want to preserve. is that little doc about a big issue.
You know, one of the things that we do in our jobs, it's my favorite four-letter word. And that word is ideas. Everything starts with an idea. Everything. Amazing. And the final process, the final outcome of it, you say, look at that. I have ideas. Let's do this, let's do that. It is, we journalists, we all the producers, the filmmakers, whatever it is you're doing, we have a good time in what we're doing, the end result. Tony, can you show us what that Emmy Awards trophy looks like, please? Oh, there's what it is. That's what it looks like. Yeah,
there it is.
So what's the situation? When is the event when you get to know?
It's June 8th.
Okay.
Prime time is Friday night. That's all the soaps and Good Morning America. And that's live. And then we're on a telecast June 8th at the Bonaventure. And it's that evening. So I guess the red carpet starts 3 to 5. Again, it's more the educational and informational folks.
Okay.
But we're in the mix with National Geographic and CBS and Netflix. So we feel good. Happy to be nominated, as they say. So, but we'll go and get dressed up. And yeah, that's the day we find out. We're also in the mix for something called the Telly Awards.
Yes.
And I don't have the information about when that's announced, but so we're in two little pots.
Okay. Well, Arden and Kimberly, ladies, want to thank you so much for being here today. It's marvelous to see all the work that you ladies did for Lebanon Lincoln.
Thank you for having us.
To win the Daytime Emmy Awards. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arden Teresa Lewis and Kimberly Woods. Thank you, ladies. And by the way, we do get a copy of this to you, so you'll get that soon, very soon.
Ah, bless you. Great.
Thank you.
Say, look at me, I did that.
Yes, and we will share it everywhere.
Indeed. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight, Harry Bruford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's actor training facility and actor space. Much thanks to our guest today, artist agent Harry Abrams, filmmaker, actress Joyce. Let's see here. Oh, yes, there it is. Director Tiffany Judkins, producer Tinks Loutwaste, we thought she was here, and writer Arden Teresa Lewis. The Actor's Choice is a presentation of B&B Productions. Rudolph Brewington is the president. Cindy Chandler is our executive producer. Special thanks to our ever-growing audience. I'm Ron Brewington. Be well. See you next time.